So the Indiana Pacers traded for Tyrese Haliburton on the trade deadline, receiving Tyrese Haliburton, Buddy Hield, Tristan Thompson, and in exchange for essentially Sabonis. So as of right now, they basically look like they've won the trade. Now, I'm not saying that there were winners or losers, but as of right now, I think the Pacers are definitely winning the trade because looking at it right now, the Kings, as good as they are, De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, they really are the only two people on that Kings team that can really just score. And right now with the Pacers, they're rebuilding, so they do got a young player in Tyrese Haliburton who's around like 21 years old. If I look up his age overall, he is around 21 years old, so fairly young. He could be the franchise point guard. And right now, he has a lot of upside and a lot of potential to become maybe I don't want to say like a 20 points per game scorer, but someone that can be a great offensive player and a defensive player, kind of like a two-way player at best. So today, we're going to talk about the Pacers, talking about Tyrese Haliburton and why he has the upside to become the franchise point guard for this Indiana Pacers team. So what's up? I'm JDC. If you like the video, drop a like down below and press the sub button. I'd appreciate it. Pacers fans, you guys have been very supportive, so I appreciate all the love from Pacers fans, and we got another one here today. So yeah, getting into the video, the topic of today's video is going to be Tyrese Haliburton and how he's been able to really just change the Pacers offensively and defensively. So first I want to talk about the game. The game today definitely was very close. At points in time in the game, they were within around like 3 points, but then they really let the Milwaukee Bucks go off in the end, and Giannis dropped a 50 piece with 14 rebounds and 4 assists. It was, I don't know, they really let him go off in the fourth, and, this Pacers team is definitely underhanded. They didn't have Malcolm Brogdon, they didn't have Chris Duarte, no Miles Turner, so I'm impressed with this Pacers team really trying to, stay in with this playoff team, in the Milwaukee Bucks, but I'm definitely impressed by this Pacers team overall. So we'll get into the box score, only talking about some like notable players. There's really 2 notable players for the Indiana Pacers. One is Buddy Hield, who dropped 36 points on 14 of 20 from the field. Very efficient game, and 8 of 12 from the 3. Also putting in 2 rebounds and 4 assists. So great game overall from Buddy Hield. Most of the bulk on offense was really on Buddy Hield, and he was able to convert a lot of his buckets, dropping 14 to 20 from the field. So yeah, I mean, Buddy Hield alongside Tyrese Haliburton today was a great offensive duo. Now, if they did have Chris Duarte, who does add a little more scoring, then I think this game would have been a little more closer. Same thing, with adding in Miles Turner and all their pieces that they, their OG pieces like Malcolm Brogdon, TJ Warren, TJ McConnell. I mean, not necessarily TJ Warren because he hasn't been playing too much, but if this Pacers team was fully healthy like this Milwaukee team was, I think they could have stood a chance, maybe even close the gap to at least like a 1-point game. Because, the Pacers today were definitely struggling in the paint. No one could guard Giannis Antetokounmpo. Jalen Smith did an okay job, maybe even a below-average job, but he didn't really stop Giannis at all, dropping 50. So Tyrese Haliburton, obviously the topic of this video, dropped 17 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, and 4 steals. That 4 steals is going to be absolutely valuable for this Pacers team, especially with him averaging around 2 steals a game. So honestly, Tyrese Haliburton, he is such a great player, man. He's one of my favorite players right now. And honestly, he's been absolutely amazing for this Pacers team. Last 10 games with the Pacers, averaging around 19 points per game, 10 assists, 4 rebounds on basically 44 from the field and 40% from 3. So he's almost shooting 50, 40, 92, which is the funny part, 93% from the free throw line. But Tyrese Haliburton alongside Chris Duarte, that's probably going to be one of my favorite backcourt duos. Obviously, I'm a Rockets fan, so KPJ and Jalen Green is my favorite backcourt duo as of right now. But Duarte and Tyrese Haliburton are definitely a close second to that. So, and looking at the other guys, I mean, there's one guy off the bench for the Pacers, Terry Taylor, dropped 10 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal. He does have some potential. He went 5 of 7 from the field, but offensively isn't really that great, but had a pretty great defensive night, grabbing 9 rebounds and a steal, so great game overall. And I don't know, this Pacers team, other than that, didn't really have too many people playing too well. Tristan Thompson played decently well, 9 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist, but everyone else was kind of mid. Jalen Smith at least had like 11 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, but only played 17 minutes, which I don't understand because they played Goga 25 minutes and he dropped 12 points and 6 rebounds and 4 assists. So basically the same stat line as Jalen Smith. So I think it just runs Jalen Smith at the center position and then just run Goga off the bench. And in my opinion, I think they should look to move Goga. He is decent, but over the season, he actually hasn't been too great because, he's only been playing in 34 games this year. So he's been averaging around like 5 points, 3 boards and like 0.7 assists over the season. I think Jalen Smith is a way better option because he has more upside, more defensive potential, and overall, I think he is a little bit taller. If you look at his height, he is 6'10" compared. Actually, no, he is like 2 inches shorter. Yeah, he is 2 inches shorter than Goga, but he plays at a bigger position and like a bigger body than Goga. So, looking at Tyrese Haliburton, going back into the topic of the video, the way that Tyrese Haliburton is also able to shoot and run the offense at the same time, it's going to be very valuable because it opens up the offense a lot. That's the one real thing I want to talk about too, is that he's able to open up the offense a lot with his floor spacing ability, his ability to pass the ball, and his court vision. There were a lot of times where he would just get his teammates open on the drive, in transition, or just straight make good plays for them overall. So his playmaking ability is definitely one of the more underrated parts of his game, but also his ability to shoot the ball. If you look at his overall stats this season, he actually is shooting around 46% from the field and 42% from 3. He's been one of the most efficient players overall this season, and I think moving forward, he's going to be one of the building blocks for this Pacers team. I think he fits well within the Rick Carlisle system. I don't know too much about Rick Carlisle. You guys can let me know, Pacers fans, what you guys think about him, but you guys can let me know what you guys think about Rick Carlisle. But I think he's going to be a pretty great fit. Come 2 to 3 years from now, I think this Pacers team is definitely going to be set up to win. They just need to add a lot more pieces. Move TJ Warren, move Malcolm Brogdon for some assets. Maybe keep Miles Turner or decide to flip him for some assets. I'm not too sure what's going to happen. But if they can get a solid small forward, maybe even a power forward, keep Miles Turner, build around Chris Duarte, Tyrese Haliburton, and then start building the bench, then I think this could become a great team in the future, maybe even in around 2 years from now when they have a not fully developed, but maybe a better developed Tyrese Haliburton, better developed Chris Duarte, who is going to be 26. We got to keep in mind that Chris Duarte is a 24-year-old rookie, so got to take that with a grain of salt. Hopefully he does at least keep up this high level of play, because in my opinion, I think they're going to get around 6 to 7 years at best of Chris Duarte in his prime and then start to decline. But you never know. Chris Duarte could become like a great player that doesn't really regress. But I don't know. Being a 24-year-old rookie definitely is something alarming. And with the Pacers being in a rebuild right now, they don't have much. I mean, they do have much time, but for Chris Duarte, he doesn't have much time left. So overall, this Pacers team, I think the one real thing that's gonna set them over the hump is that they just develop the young guys. Obviously, Haliburton and Duarte, I think just run those two for the rest of the season. Malcolm Brogdon, they need to look to move Malcolm Brogdon in the offseason because he's been pretty much injury prone for most of his career. Maybe move Malcolm Brogdon to a contender that can help them, maybe the Lakers, who are in need of a point guard that isn't Russell Westbrook. So if you move him to the Lakers or some contender that really needs a point guard, then I would be fine with that, as long as they do get some picks or just a young player in exchange for Malcolm Brogdon. Maybe the Lakers are willing to give up THT. I'm not too sure how Pacers fans really feel about THT coming to the Pacers, but you guys can let me know. But yeah, I don't know how Pacers fans feel about THT coming to the Pacers. You guys can let me know in the comments, but I don't know. He is a young prospect, someone that can run the 3, and running alongside Chris Duarte and Tyrese Haliburton, I think he could fit pretty well. So yeah, I mean, the downside to this team is that they really missed a ball handler tonight off the bench. TJ McConnell usually runs the 6-man spot, and I think that spot today belonged to Tristan Thompson, who I don't know, man. Tristan Thompson playing 15 minutes. I'm not too sure. Now, if they did have Isaiah Jackson tonight, then I definitely would have ran Isaiah Jackson over Tristan Thompson, or even Goga Bitadze, but he wasn't active tonight. I think he is injured or something like that. I'm not too sure what's happening with Isaiah Jackson, but they really missed a ball handler tonight, so maybe getting a young ball handler in the offseason that can really help them would honestly benefit them in the long run. A good young piece, or maybe a veteran piece that can help them off the bench. So that's the one downside to this Pacers team. Now, the other downside today in the game especially was that the amount of shot blocking ability and interior force today wasn't apparent or even like relevant at best, because today Tristan Thompson and I want to say Goga were really the only two interior presence today. Jalen Smith was okay, but couldn't really contain Giannis. So if they can go out, get a backup center that can really just help this team off the bench, I'd be okay with it. Now, if we're looking at potential signings in the offseason, I'm not too sure. We'll get to that when the offseason comes around, but I'm not too sure what the Pacers are going to be doing moving forward. But yeah, I mean, Pacers, they have a lot of potential on this team, and really just looking forward to the future of this team, because I think Tyrese Haliburton can develop into one of the best point guards in the league. Same thing with Chris Duarte, but it really just depends on if they keep Malcolm Brogdon. because they really could do Malcolm Brogdon at the 1, Haliburton at the 2, and then Chris Duarte at the 3, which is a little bit iffy to me. Because Chris Duarte, he is around 6'5", but he's also 190 pounds. So he's not really height size, but really more just like he's basically underweight for the position, because he's gonna get bullied by people like LeBron, KD, Ben Simmons, you know. But yeah, I mean, overall, this Pacers team, they have a bright future. They do own their first round pick this year, so it's gonna be pretty high, maybe even the lottery. Yeah, it definitely is. It's definitely gonna be in the lottery. Hopefully they do get a good prospect. Now, if they do land within like the top 5 or the top 6, then I could see them going out, maybe getting like an AJ Griffin. I'm not too sure too many forwards in the lottery. I'm trying to think right now. Maybe Johnny Davis, right? I think Johnny Davis is a small forward / shooting guard. So if they can get him, if they can get maybe Ty Washington off the bench would be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Charlie, if you're watching this, then you guys can let me know what you think about that. But yeah, I mean, if they do get a point guard off the bench in this draft, or at least a small forward that can start for them, then that would be probably the best thing for them moving forward. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the end of the video. The Pacers team, they did take the L, losing to the Bucks, but they do have a bright future ahead of them. So that's the video. I'm JDC, and I'm out. Peace.